Okay, great. Just give me a thumbs up quickly if you can see me and hear me. Okay, I just restarted the live because I had audio on my videos, and when you have audio on your video, then it's very hard to hear me. Great. So what I always do before I start is I always make sure my videos are muted, but I hadn't muted them properly. So great, welcome Fran. So we'll begin again and just let's give everybody about a minute and a half to join again. If you're in the chat, just give me a thumbs up so I can see you again. Yeah, so today we're back in South Africa. We're gonna go to Kimberley and it's gonna be amazing. 3 parts to this tour. The first part, we're gonna go really the highlight, which is the hand dug hole. That's gonna be the first part. Massive, 200 meters deep, 2 kilometers wide. It's gonna be extraordinary. Great, Cindy. I'm just gonna give a little bit more time for the rest to arrive. So that's gonna be the first part. Then we're gonna go into mine. We're gonna hear what one of the explosions look like. Afterwards, we're gonna go to the mine museum, and then we're gonna end off with an incredible recreation of what the Kimberley mining town looked like during its heyday. Great, Fran, Cindy, and Annette. Welcome. Okay, let's go. So today we are going to be going to the town of Kimberley in South Africa. It's part of the Northern Cape. You can see it's located between 2 rivers. That's the Vaal and Orange rivers, very important rivers in South Africa that provide fresh water to the population here. The city has a considerable historical significance due to its diamond mining past. And we'll also learn a little bit about the history, about the Boer War, and about the mining magnates that came out of Kimberley, who created what is now known as the De Beer Mining Company, which, if you've ever gone to get a diamond ring or diamond necklace, one of those jewelry stores could have been De Beers. Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's begin. So that's where we're going to be, Kimberley, in the northern province of South Africa. So the first part of our tour, let's start. We're going to be going and seeing this big hole. I just want to give you a little bit of context before I show you the video. This is what the big hole looked like at the time. It was being hand dug, and you can also see there's a conventional mine as well. We'll be going into that conventional mine as well, going down to these lower areas. I think there's one more picture I want to show you. Yeah, okay, let's begin. Let's go to the big hole. Okay, can everybody see the video clearly? Okay, here we go. Yeah, so here we are at the big hole. This is a highlight of coming to South Africa, is to come and see the big hole. I've always known about it since I was a child, and I've always wanted to come and visit the big hole in Kimberley. And I was just lucky enough to have the opportunity to come and visit. It was something that's been on my bucket list for a very long time, and I'm so glad that I get to share it with you. So the big hole is considered one of the world's deepest man-made holes. It was hand dug. It's almost circular in shape, with the perimeter being about 2 kilometers. It's about 215 meters deep. You'll see at the bottom, what actually makes it really beautiful, there you can see it a bit, is it's filled up with water, and it just looks beautiful. It's like bigger, it's a spectacle is what it is. It's situated in the center of the town of Kimberley, and in just a few years, the spot you're looking at right now yielded more diamonds than India had in 2,000 years. During its heyday, it was responsible for producing 95% of the world's diamonds. And today, the big hole is a well-known tourist attraction in Kimberley. You ask any South African about Kimberley, they'll immediately tell you the big hole. Everyone in South Africa knows it. You can see the town. We've got the town of Kimberley with buildings almost right on the edge. It is a little bit dangerous, I think, to be so close to the hole, because holes, the hole could collapse. So I do think I believe they are trying to move some of the buildings that are on like the tips. Yes. So we've got this. We're able to get this amazing view because we're actually standing on a little bridge that is cantilevered. It's very dangerous to be so close, to be on the cusp of the big hole like this. But what they've done is they've created a bridge. It sits on a cantilever, and it allows you to be able to get right up and close into the big hole and see the view like this. Some interesting facts about the Kimberley big hole location is that it was used as a map in one of the esports games that's very popular. And another very interesting fact about Kimberley is that on the 2nd of September 1882, Kimberley was the first city in the southern hemisphere and the second in the world after Philadelphia in Pennsylvania in the United States to integrate electric street lights into its infrastructure. So it was the second city in the world to get electricity, which is amazing. Who knew that this tiny little town would be the second city in the world to get street lamps? And as we walk out of the big hole, I'll point out the street lamp that still stands there. Annette's asking, how far is this from Cape Town? So I'm not sure of the exact distance, but I know that from Cape Town to Johannesburg is about 1,400 kilometers. So now I think the distance is about either like an hour or 2 hours from Cape Town, from Johannesburg. So I would guess, maybe let's say 2 hours. Maybe it's like 1,200 kilometers away from Cape Town. Now, when it was being dug, the water that you see today wasn't here, but now, you know, after rain and all that, water has filled in the mine, but you don't want to go swimming there, of course. There you can see that this is the lamp, the second city or town in the world to get street lamps. And who knew? It was America and then South Africa, and they still stand. Fran is just commented that the mine is so close to the town. Yeah, it is. It's amazing to be able to see the big hole, and then you can see the town almost right on the edge. You can actually drive around the perimeter, and it looks so close. So I'll tell you where we're gonna go now. We're gonna take a little walk, and we're gonna go underground. So there was two types of mining that took place. There was, of course, the digging of the big hole, and then the other type was a more conventional type of mining, which I'll show you now. So we're gonna leave the big hole, and we're gonna go down a traditional mine. Similar to if you join me for the diamond mine, the gold mine in Johannesburg, you'll probably recognize some of the elements that you saw on that tour. Now, the great thing about coming to this recreation is that you get to see a mining explosion. So of course, when you're mining underground, in order to you get the rock. In fact, in Kimberley, it's called kimberlite. Is the name of the rock where diamonds are found. Now, in order to get the kimberlite and get the rock to find the diamonds, they use TNT. And so what would happen is which is similar to what they did in the gold mines, is they would set up the TNT in a certain place. Yeah, explosives there you can see. So there it is, and I'm just gonna get the next other video where you're gonna now hear the TNT off. Now when the TNT goes off, usually there'll be no one up there. Of course, this is a recreation, so I'm going to put on the audio now so you can experience it yourself. Let's listen to the explosion of the TNT down in the mine.
5 seconds starts now. Let's go. As fast as you can, please.
Yeah, so that's a little taste of what to expect. You can get to see the explosion down in the mine. The next part of the mine is the museum. So you've got the amazing view, the mine experience, and then the museum. Now, there's two things I'm going to focus on here. The first is we're going to talk about two really important diamonds, particular diamonds. So let's go and look at those videos. And so this is the next part. It's really a world-class museum, excellently created by and maintained. Definitely one of the top museums in Africa. So this we're going to talk now about two famous diamonds. The first one is on your left, it's the yellow one, the Tiffany diamond. And the other one we're going to talk about is the Cullinan diamond. That's the third one on the right. So let's begin and then I'll tell you about them. So we're now in the museum section of the Kimberley Diamond Museum. Okay, so here, let me tell you about the Tiffany. The Tiffany diamond is one of the largest yellow diamonds in the world. It was discovered at Kimberley mine in 1878. It is a beautiful canary yellow, weighing about 287 carats when it was rough, before it was shaped. The diamond is named after the famous Fifth Avenue jeweler Charles Louis Tiffany, who bought this unique gem in 1879. It was then cut from 287 carats to 128 carats, and the cushion-shaped brilliant has 90 facets. The one we're looking at now is a recreation. More than 25 million people are estimated to have seen this fabulous gem at various exhibitions over the years. And even today, many people still flock to Tiffany's in New York to view this famous diamond, which remains on permanent display. Then we have the Cullinan diamond. In 1905, the largest rough gem quality diamond ever found was unearthed by an employee, Frederick Wills, at the Premier Mine, now today known as the Cullinan Diamond Mine. It was 3,106 metric carats and was named after Sir Thomas Cullinan, the owner of the mine. The Cullinan was sold to the what was then called the Transvaal government, which in turn presented it to King Edward VII in 1907. The diamond was then cut into 9 major gems in Amsterdam. The Cullinan 1 is the largest gem produced from the rough stone, and this pear-shaped diamond, sometimes also referred to as the Star of Africa, weighs 530 carats and adorns the royal scepter in the British Crown jewels. So those are two famous diamonds. One that ended up in Tiffany's in New York, which if you're in New York, I recommend go check that out. And the other one that ended up in the British Crown, in the scepter of the British jewels. And next thing we're going to look at, now if you've ever been to a diamond shop, they will always tell you about the 3 C's. Does anybody know what the 3 C's are? The 3 C's are used to describe a diamond's beauty and value. They are color, clarity, cut, and carat. So we're going to talk about these 4 attributes and how they affect the price of a diamond. Yeah, here, Cindy's got it. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to talk about color first. So diamonds are found in almost every color of the rainbow, but white colored diamonds remain the most popular. You do get colorless diamonds, but they are extremely rare. Most diamonds are slightly tinted or with like a yellow or a brown. So we're gonna go to, so here we are in the museum. Yeah, the color, the 4 C's used to describe a diamond's beauty and value. Okay, color. So color in diamonds is sometimes imparted by elements or minerals that were present in the Earth's mantle at the time the diamond was formed. For example, the presence of nitrogen imparts a yellow hue to a diamond, whilst boron makes a diamond bluish. Sometimes color is the result of conditions in which the diamond has grown. For example, green indicates natural irradiation, and brown and pink have undergone some sort of plastic deformation of the diamond's crystal lattice. So different, how where they are found affects the color. The Cullinan diamond is famous for its Cullinan diamond mine is famous for its blue diamonds, while Dutoit's spun mine was particularly noted for extraordinary brown and orange colored diamonds mined there. Now, the color scale, can you see the alphabet scale with different colors? The color scale is widely used to determine the color. Then let's talk about clarity. Like fingerprints, inclusions are tiny fractions or small mineral fragments that probably acted as the growth of the nucleus at the time the diamond was forming within the Earth's mantle. Clarity, there's a clarity scale that classifies diamonds according to their inherent quality. Now, so you can see that they use a use a specific to be able to see those inclusions. It's actually very difficult to see. You can't see them with the naked eye. So experts use a 10-power magnification loop to determine the number of inclusions. Inclusions are important factors to determine the value of the diamond. Then there's the cut. The cut is obviously super important because it determines the extent to which a diamond will gleam with brilliance. Regardless of its size or shape, a well-cut diamond will reflect light within itself from one mirror-like facet to the other. Light then disperses through the top of the stone, bringing out its fiery scintillation. If a diamond is cut too deep or too shallow, light will be lost through the side or the bottom. This reduces its brilliance and ultimately its value. The cut of a diamond can also affect its visual size. Two diamonds with the same carat weight can appear to be different sizes depending on the shallowness or the shape of the cut. Nature determines so much about a diamond, but it takes a master cutter to reveal a stone's true brilliance. A diamond can be cut and polished in such a way that light is reflected and refracted optimally. The classic work Diamond Design by Marcel Tarkowski was published in 1919, and it is still used widely today. Then there is carats. I'm sure you've always heard about, carat diamond. Now, if we look down here, you actually see what carats are. Carats are these little seeds that come from that plant there, and depending on how many seeds you could tell how many carats a diamond was. So that was for me a really interesting highlight. So they got the seeds in the measuring bowl and a diamond, and from that they were able to say, oh, this diamond is 200 carats. Just depending on the weight of the seeds. So if you've ever wondered what the carats are, it's not the actual carats, it is those these carrot seeds. Now, this is probably my favorite part of the tour. So you can see there's a little picture that says "You are here." We're going to have a look at the mining town that surrounds the Kimberley Big Hole. So we've been to the Big Hole, which you can see there. We went into the mine, and we were just where it says the visitor center in the museum section. And now what we're going to go do is we're going to take a walk through, it looks like a movie set, but a recreation of the Kimberley mining town back in its heyday. And we're going to talk a little bit about how diamonds form, some of the first discoveries here in South Africa, the early days of mining, and how Kimberley was transformed by mining. So, let's begin. The saga of Kimberley and its diamonds originated during a phase of volcanic activity which occurred about 60 million years ago towards the end of the Cretaceous period. Groups of volcanic pipes were blown up through the Earth's crust from deep down, and through these pipes flowed a soft, waxy, bluish volcanic rock known as kimberlite. I'll show you at the end of the tour what the kimberlite looks like. On the surface, this kimberlite weathered to so-called yellow ground, and being soft was easily eroded along any volcanic cones which might have piled up above the pipes. Below the surface, the kimberlite and the pipes formed what is called blue ground, which at greater depths became what is known as hard bank. In some inexplicable way, diamonds were accumulated by the kimberlite on its way up from the depths. A diamond is composed of carbon, which has been subjected to tremendous pressure. Kimberlite contains no carbon, but simply acts as a host to the diamonds, which must have been formed deep down and then carried by the material surging up the volcanic pipes. Not all pipes contain diamonds, but of the 150 found so far, 26 of them do, to varying degrees. So here we can see the beautiful recreation of the town. It feels like you're going through a movie set, and we will be walking around the whole town. There's even a tram that sometimes drives around. That's where you can see the marks in the ground. That is the tram. So you'll see the miner's house, where the bars, the bank, everything you need in a little mining town. So let's talk about the early discoveries and what created this town. While the first diamond rush was taking place at Hope Town, which is close by to Kimberley, a second and far greater discovery was made in 1870 in the gravels of the Vaal River at Berkeley West. At the height of the rush to these river diggings, diamonds were found in mud brick walls of a farmhouse. The house was rapidly dismantled, and the site is now a colossal hole in the ground. In December 1970, diamonds were found by children of Adrian van Beek playing next to the Totoys pan on their father's farm. A whole army of diggers stampeded to the place. Against such a flood of humanity, a landowner could do nothing. save, take money from claim fees, and watch his farmlands literally disappear. And the same thing happened here in Kimberley. This used to be a farm, but as soon as diamonds were discovered, the farm became an open pit. Now, to get to Kimberley, in December 1870, diamonds were found in May 1871, a new discovery was made on the farm called Vooruitzicht, owned by the brothers Diederik and Nicholas Johannes de Beer. Keep the name de Beer in the back of your mind. Then on Sunday night, the 18th of July, 1871, a servant named Damon, employed by Fleetwood Rawstone, one of the party men from Colesberg, who was digging at the Toy's pan, appeared at his master's tent with 3 diamonds he had found on the hill nearby. This marked the discovery of the Colesberg copy that started what has been called the New Gold Rush, the greatest of all the diamond rushes. It attracted to South Africa some of the most flamboyant characters in the world, produced a staggering fortune in precious stones, and by the mass activity of diggers resulted in the sinking of the big hole of Kimberley mine, the largest man-made hole in the world. So we're going to go, here's the, I think this is the Building Society. I think we may even go inside. So the first rushes to the diamond pipe, such as Colesberg, saw entire exposure pegged out into claims, and a similar thing happened here in Kimberley. While they're digging, everybody had like a little square meterage that they could dig from. 700 claims were marked off on the Colesberg copy, and many overlapping the pipe on it. And so what would happen is you would have a piece of land, like with all the big holes, the land would be divided up into little sections, and you would dig your section by hand. So you would have this spectacle of vast open cast mines, but people digging away, looking almost like overturned ant heaps. And about 30,000 men worked at one time in the big hole. And the sounds of pounding, digging, shouting, and grinding could be heard. And at the time, like today, it looks beautiful, but it must have been so dusty back in the day. Now, of course, diamonds were super rare, but then South Africa started exporting, with the massive discovery of diamonds in South Africa, and the world was suddenly confronted by this flood of gems from South Africa. And of course, the price of diamonds, which until then had been extremely rare gemstones, fell considerably. At the same time, however, diamonds were now within reach of the general public, and having such a glamorous background of rarity and mystic beauty, they became fashionable throughout the world, and the accepted accepted emblem of romance. Demand increased after the first decline, and Kimberly flourished considerably, with successful diggers washing in soda water, booking all-day rides on visiting merry-go-rounds, lighting cigars with $5 notes, as well as all the other nonsense which accompanies an excess of money in such a madcap society. Yeah, they've really put in a lot of work into making. So my friend Lauren has joined, and she's also from South Africa, and yeah, just amazing place to be. We're wandering now through the recreation of the Kimberley mining town next to the big hole. So Kimberley underwent a metamorphosis, with the money providing the cocoon out of which a dusty caterpillar transformed into a butterfly and emerged with social graces, libraries, and fine buildings like you see here. Theatres, gardens, and civic airs. The old Nicholas de Beer, the owner of the land on which the town was growing, took one last look at it and sold out for 6,000 guineas and moved to a quieter part of South Africa at the time. The family name, in the form of De Beers, remained as a collective term for the entire mining activity, as it was amalgamated by Rhodes into the mighty concern of today, the De Beers Consolidated Mines Limited. Kimberley became a municipality in 1877, and by 1882 a tramway connected the place to Beaconsfield, and the streets were illuminated by the first electric street lights in South Africa, the ones we saw earlier when we were staring down into the big hole. The year 1892 also saw Kimberley and the World Exhibition, the first of its kinds to be held outside London. At the time, the Diamond City was the gayest and most vivacious place in southern Africa. Even learning and religion were flourishing in the town. A school of mines was opened here in 1896, and strangely enough, in 1903 it was transferred to Johannesburg, where it became what is now known as the University of the Witwatersrand, or WITS for short. Among the religious groups that thrived in Kimberley were the Seventh-day Adventists. In 1885, Peter Wessels, founder of the denomination, on reading the Bible, decided that the fourth commandment explicitly ordained the seventh day or Saturday as a Sabbath, and arousing considerable argument over the matter in his church, he was excommunicated and promptly started what is now called the Seventh-day Adventist Church, in a small corrugated iron building situated on the corner of Blacking Street and Dyer Place in Kimberley. Now, one of the great wars in South Africa was the Anglo-Boer War. That was the British versus the Afrikaners. So in October 1899, Kimberley was besieged by the Boers for 154 days, from the 14th of October until the 15th of February 1900. But when the war ended, Kimberley resumed its diamond mining, and everything just carried on as normal. And if you read out, like, there's some amazing history about all the crazy stories. Of course, when lots of money comes into one place, you get a lot of interesting and flamboyant characters, and it attracts all sorts of interesting characters. And so there's a lot of interesting stories around all the people that were attracted to coming to the center of the Diamond Rush. So diamonds now in South Africa, they have a history of almost 150 years. They've made South Africa, part of what it is. Everybody knows that South Africa is famous for diamonds, for gold. These are big exports, and it really put South Africa on the map back in the past, and continues to influence South Africa today. And that's why today we have the opportunity, today we have people have the opportunity to have a diamond because of the discoveries made in South Africa hundreds of years ago, or over 150 years ago. So that diamond mines are a great contributor to the South African economy. In fact, there are mines in 5 of the country's 9 provinces. Thousands of local workers are employed to extract them, and the diamond industry continues to be one of the country's most lucrative industries, playing a major role in South Africa becoming